I wish I knew about it my first pregnancy because it's amazing. Hi everyone, I'm Cecilia and you're watching The Dairies. Today I'm going to be going over my first trimester must-haves. Currently I'm 15 weeks pregnant with my second child, and so I'm out of the first trimester. I've gone through it twice now, and I have a little bit of an idea of what's useful. It's so strange because this pregnancy is so different than my pregnancy with my son. So the things that I need are very different. And I'm gonna kind of go over some of both of those, like what I used with him that I don't use this time, just because I mean, you might be needing one or the other, and I wanna give helpful ideas to everybody. So let's just jump right in. I wrote a list because pregnancy brain. First off would be the supplements, and that's a prenatal vitamin, a folate, which you should take on top of. Some prenatals have it in it, but most don't, and you really want to get some folate that you can absorb well. Folic acid isn't always absorbable. Do your research about that. I'm no scientist, but definitely do your research. Find a good one that is easily absorbed because it's so important for the baby. Really, if you're even trying to get pregnant, you should be taking folate. I was, and you definitely want to keep taking it all through the first trimester. When I get really sick, I just can't handle the prenatal, so sometimes I'll push it to the side. I won't have the prenatal, but I always try and have the folate because it's just so important. So just try and get that one down. And another thing that definitely I did not know about my last pregnancy, but it's amazing this pregnancy. It's helped me so much, and that's magnesium. Magnesium has helped me honestly with so many different things. I had really bad headaches, which I had with Mason as well, who's my son if you don't know. And you know, he was my first. I could just lay in bed. I could turn off all the lights, snuggle, and go to sleep if I had a really bad headache. This time around, I'm chasing a toddler. I did not have that option, so I was just suffering with these really horrible headaches. And somebody recommended magnesium, and it worked wonders. It also helped with a lot of my aches and pains, which I've had really bad, so that was great. It also is good for sleep. So basically, it is like a first trimester godsend. So pick up some of that. I wish I knew about it my first pregnancy because it's amazing. Iron as well, if your iron's not in your prenatal. Check, oh, and DHA, take a DHA. I didn't write that on my list, but I do take a DHA separately. I take a vegan one. So those are actually the only supplements, not the only supplements that I take, just so we're clear. But they're the main ones that I think for pregnancy. But on top of that, I also take B vitamins, D vitamins, C vitamins, just all the vitamins. Backtracking a little bit to my prenatal. I take a chewable one this time. I thought it would help with the nausea because I was so sick with my son. The pill was really hard, but it turns out that chewables sound equally as disgusting when you're nauseous, maybe even more so because it's like food. It's not just like something you pop in your mouth and swallow. So I don't think that was exactly the best idea. I think I took the pill more, even though I was sicker with my son, than I have taken the chewables. So you can try both, but I think I would recommend going the pills. I was so sure that the chewables would work better this time, and they did not. Moving on from vitamins and supplements, I want to talk about the essentials on your phone. So there are really not that many. My first pregnancy, I definitely was on my phone way more often about it, in the sense that I was checking multiple apps and I was in so many groups, and because I mean, it was my first, and if it's your first, you probably understand that feeling of just wanting all the information. But this time I was pregnant, literally. Mason's only 14 months old. He was less than a year when we found out we were pregnant again. I do use 2 pregnancy apps, mainly only one, but I do like the other one. I'll show you them. So this is the first one I use. It's called The Bump. So I really like this one because it has actually a 3D photo. Here we go. It's like, this is what my baby looks like right now. And the other one is Ovia Pregnancy, and I really just glance at that every now and again. What I like about this one is that the white outline is approximately how big your baby's hand will be when they're born, and the pink is how big the baby's hand is right now. I like looking at that. I think it's cute. So the last thing that I would recommend on your phone is actually joining a group, at least one. If you've had lots and lots of kids, maybe you don't feel the need, but it's just more for mental health in my opinion. It's really, really nice to see a group of people going through the same thing as you, especially like if they're doing the same month. I'm in a larger group, and then I'm also in a very small group, and it's great. We're all really close, and I love that. You can also join groups in real life. It doesn't have to be on your phone. I just know that I don't get out of the house that often, so it's really nice to have it right at my fingertips. But if you do get out of the house a lot, feel free to join other like real life groups, pregnancy yoga, all that good stuff. Join those, but definitely meet people and talk to people that are going through the same things as you. Next up, in the more practical type of things, is a notebook. So I actually had one for my son, and now I'm keeping one for this baby. Although, let me tell you, I didn't use my one for my son very much, and I haven't been using this one very much. But it's such a big regret that I don't use them. I wish I did. For my son, I really have no excuse. Like, I felt sick, so I didn't do it. I should have done it anyway because I wish so bad that I had the details. And like right now, this video would be so much easier if I had just written things down every week. It is a lot harder now with a toddler, but he naps. I could have done it. So your first trimester is very uncomfortable. It's kind of like the first and the third are both really uncomfortable, but the first is just so achy, I guess. Like, your body hurts, you're getting used to it. There's a lot of changes happening. So you definitely are gonna want to start early and just invest in at least one pair of really nice, cozy maternity pants. I'm actually wearing a pair right now. And they go all the way up my belly, and they're so nice. And I got them when I was barely pregnant, but you know what? They're so much comfier than any other sweatpants. And you can use them your whole pregnancy. So just get them early. And along with that is you are gonna want just to have pillows. And I never got a specific pregnancy pillow, but I did have a body pillow, and I do just have a lot of other pillows. Sorry guys, my battery died. I think what I was saying was basically pillows are awesome. Invest in a pregnancy one if you want, or don't, but either way, just have pillows. Something that I used all the time with my son, and I couldn't really use it this time around because we bed share and it would have been a little bit unsafe, but that's a heaty pad or a hot water bottle or something just, again, for those achy muscles. So now we're moving on to more food and drink type things. Starting off, you definitely want to have a reusable water bottle if you don't already have one, because when you're pregnant, you get so thirsty and it happens right away. So this is just a mason jar with a little lid, but I do have a reusable water bottle that I take out of the house with me. I just use my mason jars in the house. You'll want to keep snacks on hand because even if you're not feeling very sick, nausea can happen to any pregnant lady if you let I think it's your blood sugar that gets too low and then it makes you feel nauseous. So things that were a lifesaver for me were granola bars, and not just regular granola bars, I mean those too, but like the really protein packed ones actually were the best for me. I'm normally not somebody who likes big protein packed granola bars, but they were a lifesaver. They actually filled me up. And if I was on the run with my toddler, like I needed something and I needed it now. Cereal and crackers are also great. Just, you know, things to quickly get some food into you. You want to get the carbs in, and yeah, those aren't exactly like the best carbs, but I love all carbs, so bread, yeah, that one's actually also really good. All these are great for helping you just keep yourself full enough to even make a real meal. So keep them on hand. With my son, I kept them in my bedside table, and I ate crackers as soon as I woke up. I ate cereal, like dry cereal, as soon as I woke up. This time around, I haven't really done that. Like I said, they've been very different pregnancies, and I haven't really felt the need to, although I have pretty much gone down immediately. In the mornings, I go down to the kitchen and I get something to eat. So, yeah, just different pregnancies needed different things, but they're really, really useful. So have them on hand, especially if you're waking up feeling really sick. For food in general, in the first trimester, you're probably gonna wanna keep a lot of simple foods on hand because you don't really know what you're gonna be in the mood for, but also what your stomach's gonna be able to handle. I know there are lots of women out there who don't get sick, but a lot of us do. Another good tip, in my opinion, is to keep at least one thing that's really salty on hand and one thing that's really sweet. So we keep a little bit of candy. We also have a giant, like it's literally this big, thing of olives, and I will put those on everything. Just definitely have those on hand for whatever craving is gonna come. You wanna keep frozen fruit on hand, like with my son. Sometimes it's all I could eat was frozen fruit. I'd be laying in my bed sick and my husband would just bring me a little bowl of frozen berries or frozen mango, and I would just suck on it and eat it, and like it would get some nutrition into me without me having to actually eat, I guess. So now onto the last category, which is actually things that will help with sickness. And so for me, it's different this time around versus last time around. Oh, actually, I have one more thing that's not technically, it won't help, but it will kind of help, and that's popsicles. With my son, I have not had any this pregnancy, but with my son, they were a lifeline, a necessity. I needed them, and not just one kind. I had to have 2 different types of popsicles because I needed one that was basically just juice, like, but do you know what I mean by like practically empty, like mostly water? I needed the liquid. I did not need anything else from it. I couldn't handle anything else when I would eat those ones. I couldn't even handle to drink water, so I would just suck on a popsicle. So the next type of popsicle I would have is one of the ones that are packed with real fruits, like so packed. Like make your own if you can. I was so sick, so I didn't really make my own, but I would buy like the fruitiest. They're usually more expensive, but like they're worth it. They're like really good for you and really packed full of real fruits. And those are when I couldn't eat, but I could handle more in my stomach, and I really needed more. So when it comes to being sick, there are some things that have helped me out, and those are a lot of ginger things have helped me. And I don't really like ginger, but ginger chews sometimes helped. Ginger lozenges actually were really good for me. I got like anxiety during my first trimester with my son, and sucking on a lozenge would like help me because I would be so sick and nauseous. Like I would be throwing up a lot with him, and I would get so like that, like the anxiety would hit that like I was never gonna feel better. I was gonna feel sick for the rest of my life. I know that's not rational, but that's what was going through my brain, and I would be sucking on this lozenge and it would like calm me down. Maybe even any lozenge, but like the ginger ones, I don't know, it was like the texture of them was so soothing. It was like they were almost chewy but not, but yeah, so those were a good ones. I don't remember what they were. I wish I could remember. It was a while ago. Obviously it was with my son. I didn't have them this time around. Ginger tea is also good, and actually what I found really pleasant, because I don't like ginger, so ginger tea wasn't, like it helped, but it wasn't very nice for me to actually drink. I didn't really enjoy it. But what I did enjoy was ginger ale, and you heat it up in the microwave, and it kind of like takes some of the fizz out, and it's just warm, and it kind of calms your stomach. And I actually found it really helpful. Like I always do that actually when I'm sick, like I actually have the flu or like just feel nauseous for any other reason, then that's my go-to. And it works during pregnancy. So last pregnancy, I ended up getting diclectin, and that's a prescription from my midwife, and it was for nausea. I was throwing up so much, and like there were like a few days, I think there was like 3 days where I was throwing up practically nonstop, and my husband got so worried, so he told me to please take the medicine from the midwife. But this time around, I knew I didn't want to take any medicine, so I looked up, we were looking up some other kind of methods, and I wasn't as bad this time. The nausea wasn't the same at all. It was very different actually. And while we were looking up some things, we were actually looking up CBD oil, and Shaq came across this woman who was talking about different homeopathic remedies. So basically she was listing off symptoms that are kind of strange, and like she was saying if you have these symptoms together, this homeopathic remedy might work for you, and if you have these ones together, this one might work for you. So she named all these random symptoms, like you feel sick but can't throw up, you feel better when you're in fresh air, you want all your drinks to have ice in them. I don't know, she named a few, but they seemed so random to me. But I had them all. And she said, if you have those ones, then you should try ipecacuanha. It's also called Ipecac. I was like, I should try it. So I went to my health food store and I picked up a bottle, and it worked. It worked actually great. And so you take like 5 of these little things every time you feel nauseous, and if you're still nauseous, in like 15 minutes you can take 5 more. Repeat, I don't know how many times, because it usually worked for me pretty much right away. So I finished that container, because you take 5 at a time. I think there was only like 80 in there, maybe even less. And they were cheap, like they weren't expensive. So I went to the store and I picked up 3 more. I put 1 in my bathroom upstairs, 1 downstairs in my kitchen, and 1 in my diaper bag. Maybe I'll try and find her video and link it below, because it was so beneficial. Like she named off I think 5 different homeopathic remedies and like the random symptoms that might make that help. So it's just like one part in this big video, but I will link it below. As I said, this pregnancy has been way different than my last pregnancy, actually way easier, so it's kind of hard for me to think back to like the other things that I used last pregnancy, because I haven't used a lot of them this time. If you're pregnant, I hope you're having a wonderful pregnancy, and please comment below if I missed something that you find vital, because I really want to keep track of these things. Honestly, like if something's gonna help me for my next pregnancy, I don't know how it's gonna be. I might need a lot of different stuff that I use this time, so if you have any ideas, post them below. Let's get a conversation starting. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for all videos, pregnancy, baby, 2 under 2. Thanks for watching, bye.